Dark feminine energy is a reminder for women to reclaim their power. It is that particular type of power that I was lacking almost all my life. In the last few years, I have been able to regain my power by tapping into my dark feminine energy and constantly working on improving this embodiment. And in today's video, we will take a closer look at another femme fatale character from the movie Deepwater. Ana de Armas delivers a captivating performance as Melinda in the psychological thriller Deepwater. Melinda is not just a typical romantic lead or a submissive spouse. Instead, she embodies the archetype of the femme fatale, a woman who uses her allure, intellect, and manipulation to drive those around her to the edge. Her character is both alluring and destructive, combining a lethal mixture of sensuality, emotional detachment, and dangerous charm that leaves her husband weak, and the audience equally amazed, seduced, and mesmerized. And in today's video, we will then explore Melinda as a modern femme fatale, focusing on her role as a manipulative and seductive force in that film. We will examine her use of sexuality, her emotional complexity, and the psychological games that she plays, ultimately making her an irresistible yet destructive figure. At the heart of her character lies the duality of attraction and danger, the defining features of any femme fatale. Please also keep in mind that I believe we can learn from all characters and take something valuable from them, no matter how morally ambiguous they may seem. Let's not judge and dive deeper into the story and analysis behind Melinda. And so, point number one is Melinda's power and allure. From the moment Melinda appears on the screen, she exudes a sensual energy that defies her role in the film. Melinda, played by Ana de Armas, embodies a raw, almost primal form of femininity that immediately captures attention. Her character uses this beauty and sexuality as tools to manipulate and control the men in her life, and particularly her husband Wick. Melinda is not subtle in her sexuality. Throughout the film, she flaunts her attractiveness and actively seeks the attention of other men, and this is despite being married. In the classic femme fatale fashion, she toys with desire and jealousy, knowing very well the power that she holds over men. Her behavior is unapologetic and deliberate. She knows how to dress, how to move, and how to speak in a way that keeps men intrigued and entranced. And this is exactly the hallmark of the femme fatale, a woman who uses her physical allure not as a passive trait but as a form of agency. There is certainly so much power in your beauty. Think of the characters like Jessica Rabbit or Marilyn Monroe. When you take care of your beauty, you have access to a very powerful tool that can get you ahead in any room that you walk in. Coming back to Melinda, in the context of her marriage, her sexual power is even more apparent. She openly engages in extramarital affairs, showing off her lovers in front of Wick without any pretense of shame or guilt. By doing this, she exerts a form of control over him. Her infidelity is not then just about seeking pleasure. It is about asserting dominance and keeping Wick under her thumb. She thrives on the tension her actions create, knowing that her allure is both irresistible and maddening for her husband. And this exact dynamic reflects a classic femme fatale theme, the woman who uses her sexuality not just to seduce but to destroy. The way Melinda uses her sexuality as a weapon in this film mirrors the traditional femme fatale archetype seen in noir films, however with a modern twist. In the older films, the femme fatale often would operate within the constraints of societal expectations, using seduction in more covert ways. We can see, however, that Melinda is overt in her actions. She is flirting bold and her behavior is unapologetic energetic. And this certainly makes her a more modern and liberated version of the femme fatale, one who operates without concern for the judgment of others. Point number 2 is emotional detachment and manipulation. While Melinda's sexual power is overt, what makes her a true femme fatale is her emotional detachment and her ability to manipulate those around her. A key characteristic of the femme fatale archetype is her enigmatic nature. She is emotionally elusive, making her both fascinating and dangerous to those who fall under her spell. And Melinda perfectly embodies this quality. Throughout Deepwater, Melinda remains emotionally inaccessible, and that is particularly to her husband. She constantly plays a psychological game with Wick, where her actions and words are designed to provoke a reaction but never give him what he truly wants: emotional closeness or an explanation for her behavior. She remains distant and her motivations ambiguous, which only deepens the mystery surrounding her. This emotional detachment is a classic femme fatale trait, as it allows her to maintain control over the situation. Melinda is not interested in deep emotional connections, rather she thrives on the power dynamic of desire, frustration, and jealousy. What makes her manipulation so potent is that it's never clear what she truly feels. Does she love her husband? Or is she simply toying with him? Or is there a deeper hidden reason for her behavior? And I think this confusing behavior is a part of her allure. It keeps her husband perpetually off balance, always questioning her true intentions. Melinda's manipulations are not limited to her husband. Her interactions with her lovers also showcase her ability to control and dominate men emotionally. And she never seems emotionally invested in any of them, yet they remain utterly captivated by her. This emotional detachment combined with her sexual allure makes her a figure of both attraction and fear. The men who come closer are left powerless. They are unable to truly possess or understand her. And this is exactly this power imbalance that is a key feature of her femme fatale persona. Now, ladies, I think we can all agree that both Melinda, as much as many other femme fatale characters, are quiet or even very toxic. This is a very narcissistic behavior, and the point of this video is not to become as such. However, as a society, both men and women are drawn to those darker and dangerous characters because I think they represent that part in us that wants to be awakened. The men would like to be seduced by a woman like Melinda, and as woman would like to gain her power. Melinda, for example, can teach you to stop running after men, take control of your emotions, and appear in that queen-like state, the one that is sure of her power and beauty, and let men come to win her. Being a little detached here is good, and there are plenty of videos on YouTube that promote that. In fact, all queen-like characters have the same characteristic of Melinda's emotional detachment. You can use this as a tool to deepen your personality, gain more confidence, and improve your relationship. We can take those toxic traits and convert them into the more lighter and healthy version of those. And so, moving on, point number 3 is psychological games and power dynamics. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of Melinda's character is the psychological games she plays throughout the film. She is not just a woman who engages in infidelity for pleasure. Her actions are part of a larger game of control and dominance, particularly over her husband. The tension between them is palpable, as Melinda keeps pushing the boundaries of their marriage, testing how far she can go before Wick breaks. And this is another good point we can take from Melinda. Never let anyone push your boundaries and leave when someone starts disrespecting you. We can blame Melinda for her toxic actions, but let's be honest, her husband is allowing that. By showing off her affairs in front of her husband, she forces him into a position of helplessness, where he either must accept her behavior or confront her, risking the collapse of their marriage. However, even when her husband reacts, Melinda remains unfazed and always one step ahead. She knows how to manipulate his emotions, keeping him trapped in a state of desire, frustration, and obsession. And this exact dynamic reflects the power struggle that lies at the heart of many femme fatale narratives. The femme fatale is a woman who operates outside the traditional roles of a wife or lover. She is that destabilizing force, and one who refuses to be controlled by men. I think in Deepwater, Melinda embodies this role perfectly. As we said before, her infidelity is not just an act of betrayal, it is a way to assert her independence and challenge the power dynamic of her marriage. Her husband, on the other hand, is trapped in the cycle of wanting to control her but being unable to, which only deepens his obsession and frustration. Melinda's psychological games also extend to the way she manipulates the people around her. She creates a sense of intrigue where her actions are never fully explained, and her motivations are constantly shifting. And again, this is both us, the audience, as well as the other characters in that film, that we are in the state of suspense, always questioning what she will do next. And I think this unpredictable behavior is a part of her allure as a femme fatale. She is a force of chaos, someone who cannot be pinned down or understood, which makes her all the more dangerous. And the note for us here is to be a little unpredictable in our relationships, and especially the romantic ones. We are bored to death by people who are predictable and the good girl who is afraid to shake the box and the status quo. Being spontaneous will only improve your marriage and make you more interesting. And so let's learn that from Melinda. And now moving on, point number 4 and the last one is the dark allure of the femme fatale. Melinda certainly embodies the dark allure that defies the femme fatale. She is a woman who is both deeply attractive and profoundly dangerous, someone who lures men into her orbit only to destroy them emotionally and in some cases physically. And what makes her so compelling is this duality, the combination of irresistible beauty and destructive power. At the heart of her character lies the tension between attraction and danger. Men are drawn to Melinda because of her beauty and sensuality, but once they are ensnared by her, they find themselves trapped in a web of manipulation, jealousy, and psychological torment. This is the essence of the femme fatale, a woman who offers the promise of pleasure and desire, but ultimately brings about the downfall of those who seek to possess her. In Deepwater, Melinda plays this role to perfection. She is both seductive and destructive. Her allure is undeniable, but it comes at a cost. Those who fall for her are doomed to suffer. And this also brings us to the siren archetype, which she also embodies. And this exact dynamic reflects the timeless appeal of the femme fatale in cinema. She is a figure who represents both the ultimate fantasy and the ultimate nightmare, a woman who cannot be controlled or possessed, and the one who uses her power to manipulate and destroy. And now, on a final note, in Deepwater, Anna de Armas' portrayal of Melinda, I think this is a masterclass in the femme fatale archetype, also with the modern twist. She is a woman who uses her beauty and sexuality as a tool of manipulation, keeping those around her in a state of desire and emotional turmoil. She is emotionally detached, enigmatic, and always in control, playing psychological games that leave her husband and lovers powerless in her presence. And so her character embodies the duality of attraction and danger, making her a figure of both fantasy and fear. I think that Melinda's role as a femme fatale is not just about her physical allure. I think this is about the way she uses her power to manipulate and control those around her. And so I also invite you to subscribe to my channel and follow my femme fatale playlist, as we will be slowly uncovering and analyzing many different women who fit the femme fatale archetype. And let me know in the comments, what do you think about Melinda and her behavior in this movie? Remember, such characters can teach us valuable tool to deepen our personality and help us activate this dark feminine energy. And as I have already made a video about the importance of dark feminine energy, I will link it down below. And so, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.